then just be like, okay, you did that, but what can we do to improve it? Just giving yourself grace and forgiving yourself and what you've done.
Hey, 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 welcome to the Walking Life's Journey podcast. We are on season 4, episode 2, and I am super excited about what is happening in this podcast this year because we are focused on a word series. Okay. Now, before we dive into our word series, Keandra, where can they find us?
You can find us on TikTok, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcast. Is that what it is?
You sure?
What is it?
Are you sure?
I don't know. I'm not
I don't
sure.
know. I think she forgot.
Where they find us at?
Lowe's, Zamzo's, Home Depot, and Carl's Jr. on the third Thursday of every month.
I will not be there, but you can find him there.
How about this?
Haters, man.
Walking Life's Journey can be found on any podcast platform because we want you to connect with us. So, as we are focused on series episode 2, the word series that we are doing, the word that we want you to think about and just really find yourself in this word is forgiveness. Oh yeah, forgiveness, right? It's a little bit deeper than our first word, but it's one that if you truthfully learn what the word forgiveness means, you will go so much further in life. So much further in life. It's a freeing word. It's a word that you don't do it for everyone else. You do it for yourself. So come on with us and let's unpack this word together. Ready?
Let's do it.
Let's get it.
We're in this process together. This episode is about choosing freedom. Choosing freedom.
Okay.
Choosing freedom.
Freedom.
So let's get it. Let's start with what forgiveness isn't. It's not about saying what happened was okay. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying, oh, you're forgiving, I'm okay, it's good. That's not what forgiveness is. It's also not pretending that whatever was done does not hurt. That's not forgiveness. Also, forgiveness is, this one kind of burns my britches when someone says, if I offended you, I ask for your forgiveness. You already know you offended me. That's why you over here saying what you're saying. So what I need you all to really think about is forgiveness is about you and your freedom. It's about you and your freedom and refusing to continue to carry that weight day after day after day. Because most of the time, 9 times out of 10, the person who offended you or the person that caused you that harm, they have went on about their life. And you're sitting there with that weight and you can't heal and it's affecting you. So forgiveness is about you and what you need and not the other person. What y'all think about that?
I think we done.
You said it best.
Well,
wrap it up. I think we done.
We're not going to wrap this up because forgiveness, it's... Let's think about this. When was the first time you really learned how to forgive? When was the first time you learned how to forgive? And even seeing what real forgiveness looks like.
Like real forgiveness?
Real forgiveness.
Because I feel like when you're little, you learn it, like, oh, they hurt you. Say you forgive them. Like the little things. But
yeah,
to really forgive, I feel like it's when you got true hurt. Like that true first hurt.
That true first hurt.
Yeah.
Do you remember your true first hurt?
Yeah.
Well, she don't want to talk about it.
We're not going to talk about the hurt, but you remember your true first hurt? And have you forgiven the person that caused that pain, that hurt?
I did. It took a while to get there because I feel like I went about forgiveness the wrong way at first.
Okay.
When I turned it into hatred. And that's never good. And I feel like that puts a bigger toll on you. But once you learn how to forgive, you feel lighter. You feel airier. Like, oh, whatever. It is what it is type thing.
So how were you able to process forgiveness for that person, though? what did you have to do for yourself? I heard you say it took some time. So it really wasn't something that was done overnight, but you got there. How did you process that?
I think, like you said, it's really something that's for yourself. So when I started really working on myself, it just happened for me.
Yeah.
I don't really know exactly what steps, but that.
Would you say that that unforgiveness that you held on to felt like heavy weight? Did it keep you from actually blossoming into your full potential self?
Yeah, it's like a bitterness, and you don't want to be bitter ever.
Ooh,
But
that's good.
if you don't forgive, you can become bitter, and then the person's like you said, going about themselves, not even
Oblivious, not even
worried
knowing.
about it.
Yeah. You got to forgive. You got to forgive to heal. I think when I think about the unforgiveness, White, and you jump in whenever you need to. But when I think about unforgiveness, it's sometimes that one thing. It could be the person, you could still be seeing them. It could be a situation. And automatically, when it's triggered, it takes you there and you relive that same situation over and over again. And every time you have to relive that, it pulls you back into that pain. So now you've caused double pain on yourself because you haven't forgiven the person. But remember, the forgiveness is not for the person. The forgiveness of that person is for you. What you think? I'll keep going.
No, you're absolutely right. The forgiveness ultimately is for you, because of that weight that you bear, because of that heaviness that you feel. And again, a lot of people, a lot of times, people don't even. I ain't gonna say a lot of times. Sometimes people can not even know that they offended you or made you, their actions made you feel a certain type of way,
Yeah.
because they not in tune like that. Going on about life, carrying on, and the whole time you feel some sort of way. You all bound up and you know everything is touchy, and they
Yeah.
just la la
Yeah.
la la la. Not even realizing what you going through. And
Yeah.
ultimately, it's one of those things like, it does it take more. Does it take more energy for you to stay mad and be frowned up, or to
Yeah.
laugh and smile? That type thing.
Yeah.
But it's interesting what Keandra said with regards to not necessarily being able to identify that particular moment when she was
Yeah.
able to forgive. It just ended up happening.
Yeah.
I think a lot of forgiveness has to do with time, how much time you let pass, because that whole thing, like you said, you get triggered by something,
Yeah.
and you back to square one, or it puts you back in that moment. I think time is that thing that really heals, because man, forgiving somebody, you could say you forgive somebody, but still in your heart, it ain't really gone. So I think
True.
that time has to pass, or you have to have those things going on in your life to where
Yeah.
you're taken away from that, and that's not constantly on your mind,
Yeah.
to where you're reliving this. Get something going on about yourself and keep pressing.
I like that. Yeah. When you talk about forgiveness and you say that time has passed, I think when time has passed and that person or that situation is not staring at you in your face, you think you have forgiven.
Right.
But then when something triggers that thought, you realize you may not have forgotten
Absolutely.
at all. And I love it. And when, we'll hear, I'll forgive you, but I won't forget.
Yes.
I'll forgive you, but I won't forget. I have learned walking this journey called life that I'm going to forgive you. But I also have learned that my body language says a whole lot.
Facts.
And my heart can be like, I forgive this situation. But my body language, I feel tense. And that's when I know I haven't forgiven something or whatever. It tenses me up. And it immediately takes control of my energy and my body. And then I have to ask myself, hey, I thought you said that you have forgiven this. I thought you have said that you moved past this. What is this feeling that you have? So when we think about forgiveness, I think the first thing you have to do is call it out. What is that thing that you're forgiving?
Yeah.
Do you even know what has you bound? What has you upset? Do you even know what you're supposed to be forgetting? So call that pain out. You don't have to brush it under the rug. It happened. It happened. own it
Mm-hmm.
and make that pain, just make it easier for you to forgive. Because if not, I know my body will become completely tense, and that language could be saying something. I even, seriously, as red as this hat I got on, sometimes my skin will turn that red when I know I'm sitting in a situation that I am not comfortable with.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with it. So I need you to think about that. I need you to think about what is that forgiveness and how to reclaim your power, not for them, but for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're wondering how, but how do I forgive? We got you. It starts with acknowledging the pain.
Okay, yeah.
Name it. Name that pain. I am whatever. Name it. Name the hurt. I think when we, growing up, we've heard different stories and people shared their life story. It was not my story, but when I hear young girls and young boys talk about someone that they have trusted touch them, that is one that's a trigger. And then when you have your own children, you start to kind of overprotect to the point that as soon as they can get loose, they jumping out.
Mm-hmm.
And that is part of that forgiveness. Yes, okay, I forgive Uncle Buck. I forgive whoever. I forgive Auntie, whatever that is. But did you forgive, or did you just move from that person to make sure that would never happen again? But you didn't forgive. Name the hurt. Name it. Put a name to it. Put a name to it, Keandra. Then we release it. After you put a name to it, you release it. That might look like you're journaling.
Mm-hmm.
That journaling is, it's amazing. It's amazing. You write down your thoughts. You can do a workbook, whatever it is, but it gives you good prompts to say, how do I get past this?
Mm-hmm.
Prayer, therapy, talking it out, whatever that is that you need to do, you have to find a way to release it. You got to find a way to release it.
I think that right there, the releasing it part, it ties in very well with the first point you made as far as naming it. When you name it, you really have to deal with it. You know, you have to address it. I don't know how many times that I've let a situation go by. And again, I'm the type of person, I only address something if it's really that deep. You know what I'm saying? If it's really to the point where I got to say something. If not, I'll let it roll off and I'll keep it pushing. But even in those instances right there, sometimes I have those thoughts, man, I should have probably said this, you know, because then I'm pent up or bound up or feel some sort of way until that time allows me to release it, you know. But in the end, I really didn't resolve anything because I didn't come forward and address it. You know. So
I think too, when you talk about forgiveness, yes, I'm going to say everything needs to be forgiven. Every single thing that has happened to us needs to be forgiven. I really do believe that, because it's you taking your power back. Just because I forgive you doesn't mean I'm going to keep putting myself in that in that situation. That's the thing. And I had to find that was very hard for me. I've been in my life where if something happens, I'm able to move myself from it. And I can forgive it because my mind says, you're not in that situation anymore. But I think when I was tried for the first time, I couldn't run from it. Even when I tried to run from it, God said, no, you get back here and you deal, and you're going to learn how to heal, and you're going to learn how to forgive in this season. And I had to learn that in that season. So I had to forgive for myself. The person may not even know you forgave them, because you may not go back and say, I forgive you.
Right.
But I journaled and I wrote it down and I prayed and I asked God, what will you have me to do in this season? And the forgiveness was lifted up. It's like a weight was lifted off of me. So I'm not going to say you just forgive and be like, okay, it's gone, done. It takes time. Like you said, it can be days and things can happen over and over and over again. But I'm choosing to forgive. I'm choosing to forgive. Because you can't have control of me.
Right. And it's important to distinguish between you actually taking those steps to forgive somebody and you just releasing it, because, you know, I think those are two separate things. Forgiveness,
tell me more.
with forgiveness, you have to be active and be intentional about
Oh, you
what
taking me to
what
back
that
to
is,
episode
right?
one, huh?
When you releasing it, like not giving any more energy to it. Yeah, it ties into forgiveness, but like you said, you didn't actually necessarily speak those words
Yeah.
um, or go about it
Mhm.
intentionally. You
Yeah.
just like, man, whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, does does everything need to be forgiven? To me,
Forgiveness.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that. I can release it eventually.
Yeah.
You can't forgive it.
I'm not saying I can't,
Mm-hmm.
but I think for me when I wrap my mind around forgiveness, it's me taking that action to be like, hey, I forgive you for this.
Gotcha.
That's how I feel
Yeah.
about
Okay.
forgiveness.
Okay.
But releasing it so it's not weighing me down,
That's good.
that's
Yeah.
that's different.
And I think that's exactly why we're doing this word series, right? Because sometimes our words look totally different.
Mm-hmm.
When I take forgiveness, forgiveness is I've released it. I've let you back in my life. If gosh, I think some about my friendships and things do happen in our life. And you might not call that person for 2 days, 3 days, not because you got that friendship where you can just go days without talking and you know the love. No, I'm intentionally not calling you on Friday morning
Yeah.
when we normally talk.
Right.
And so I'm intentionally trying to make sure you understand I'm hurt. And we got to actually identify this hurt. So let me calm down so I don't say anything to you that will, because words last. I tell you guys all the time, I don't know who said sticks and stones may break your bones, but words may never
Yes.
hurt you. Words hurt. And so I have to release myself from that environment to make sure I say the right words. But forgiveness is for you.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. The person may never understand what they did to you and how it affected you.
Right.
But when I go and pull that journal out and I say on this date, you know what? I've been dealing with this, and this. I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for doing this. And that's my, you call me crazy. But when I am hurt, the first thing I say is I call the hurt out and say, thank you for causing that pain I had today. Thank you for pushing me to my next level. Thank you for deciding to leave my life. Thank you. I say thank you first. And that might be crazy, but the first time I started walking like that was some years ago when I got to see my father right before he passed away. And I as much as I wanted to be upset about some things, all I could say is, I forgive you. I forgive you for going into the military and choosing the lifestyle you wanted. I thank you for placing my mother and I in a place where we moved to Norfolk, Virginia. I thank you for doing this, because if it wasn't for those things, I wouldn't have met my husband. So I started to forgive in that way. And when I started to call that out and say thank you, the appreciation of the actual incident started to help me work through things. So forgiveness is not me always saying, Keandra, I forgive you today. Forgiveness is, I forgive that person for this hurt, and I'm no longer going to let it be on me. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
That's good.
Do you think we make forgiveness harder than it has to be?
I can't necessarily say we do, because if you got to forgive somebody for something, it's something that was done,
Yeah.
you know. And it's not a one size fit all type thing as far as
No.
it's different levels to it. But if
Yeah.
you're making it harder, either I don't want to just put a blanket over nobody, but either you deserved it, you was a hole and you deserved it, or
Okay.
now I don't know. I'm gonna leave that alone. But sometimes we can, especially if it's not that deep. Sometimes we can get overly sensitive about things.
Now you're right. You're right.
Um,
You're right.
but most of the time, if you really have to forgive somebody, it's because something was done.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Now this is the hard one for me. And it's kind of always hard for us. But I don't know. Maybe I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from you. Let's talk about forgiving yourself. because we can be so hard on ourselves. See, we can give that forgiveness to others
Yes.
with a little bit more grace and ease and be intentional. But when it comes forgiving yourself, how have you done on that? Forgive yourself.
Terrible.
It's hard. It's hard, especially for me, because I'm someone who's very, 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 very hard on myself. And I will hold it on me and beat myself down about it and keep thinking about situations over and over and over. But I think to forgive yourself, that's part of what we talked about in the first episode of being able to give yourself grace.
Yeah.
And then just be like, okay, you did that, but what can we do to improve it? Just giving yourself grace and forgiving yourself and what you've done and things like that.
Yeah. I think forgiving yourself personally is harder because we put that weight of that guilt, that shame, that regret
Everything
on you.
Oh yeah.
And so you can get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can get stuck in that guilt. You can get stuck in that regret. You can get stuck in that shame.
Yeah.
And so forgiving yourself can be a little bit harder.
It is.
I think it can be a little bit harder.
I agree.
Okay. But I want us to learn how to forgive ourselves.
Yes.
Whatever it is that you are holding, that you have not let go, whether you're a mom and maybe you felt like you weren't the best mom. I want you to forgive yourself about that. If you're a dad and you didn't feel like you were the best dad, forgive yourself about that. And when you forgive yourself, what will you be able to do to say, to make a, say it again?
Differently.
Yes, to make a difference. What will you do that will be different? In episode 1, Bree pointed out that when we talked about grace, give yourself grace, but don't give yourself too much grace. So when you are saying, I forgive myself, forgive yourself and don't make the same decision that puts you in that place that had you asking for forgiveness in the first place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's really with all forgiveness. Even when you forgive someone else, I feel like it's our subconscious when you start acting differently towards that person because you're like, oh, I'm not going to put myself in that position for you to do that to me again.
Yeah.
So like you said, with yourself, forgive yourself and don't put yourself in that same position. Grow from it.
Good. So I got a question. To the community. I got a question to this table. What would your younger self say to you if they were sitting right here next to you about forgiveness? What would they say to you? Your younger self. What would your younger self say to you if they came and sat right beside you? When we're talking about forgiving yourself. My younger self would say something like, girl, stop being so hard on yourself. So what? That didn't work out like that. Look at what happened with this. That's what she would say. She would say something like that because I am my worst critic. Sometimes you can't see past your faults. And so I have to learn that. So that's what my younger self would say. What would your younger self say?
My younger self would probably be like, girl, stop overthinking it and just do it. Stop being hesitant and just go for it.
Good.
So
Good. That's good.
Mine along the same lines as well. Like, hey man, we look at where we are.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. We're a lot further than where we were.
Yeah. Good. I like that. So if you're listening to this and your heart's been heavy for any reason, and that unforgiveness is sitting right there and you know you need to forgive someone, this is your sign. You are allowed to forgive yourself. You're allowed to forgive others. And we're going to work on releasing it.
yes.
Releasing it because, what did we say earlier? The person or that thing that hurt you is doing his own thing now. And you are sitting there stuck and can't move forward, which means it's causing you stress, it's causing you pain, and it's causing you hurt. So let go. And guess what? You're not weak. You're not weak because you forgave. You're strong because you forgave. You took your power back. And when you took your power back, you got strength.
Yes.
You got strength. What y'all think?
No, that's
You got
good.
strength?
Some people could think they're weak because they gave down and gave in and forgave, but I feel like it shows you're not a, like, it shows you're a bigger person. Like, it shows your strength when you're able to forgive no matter the circumstances.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because it takes a lot for people most times to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to be able to
It takes a lot
swallow
to
your
forgive.
pride,
It
your
does.
ego, and everything to be like,
Yeah.
you know what, this
Yeah.
ain't that serious, or
Yeah.
if it is, yo, I'm gonna do what I need to do to move forward. It takes a lot.
Yeah. So understand this. Forgiveness actually is powerful. It is strength, and you are strong. So we want you to continue to walk this journey with us. This is episode 2 of our word series, and we will be having another one. This is about words. Words are powerful, and we want to
Very
make sure
powerful.
you have the meaning of the words. We want to make sure the word resonate with you. We want to make sure that we call it out. So we've been intentional, and now we're focusing on forgiveness. So until next time, but I always want you to remember, as you're walking this journey called life, you are the key piece to your story. Until next time, bye.